Hello there, ladies and gentlefolk, and welcome to another episode of Zcast. I had a 2-week break to do the preseason, and I'm joined once again by Burn, HK, and Squeak.
Hi!
Hello.
Hey. Got the fucking order wrong, you useless bastards.
That venom in that voice already. We've been
Calm
recording
down.
for 10 seconds.
Jesus.
Actually, I've been
If you
recording
want,
for a
we
lot
can
longer than
restart.
that. No, wait, you've done it now. No, you've done it now. You've screwed it up now, Burn. There's no way of getting out of this. You fucked it up.
Well, oh well. God.
Yeah, so we had the preseason.
We did.
We did.
Wow.
Yeah, we did.
Did
Okay,
we
cool.
have the
We're done.
preseason?
I don't think we should go over every match, because that probably would take about 4 hours.
Yeah, and there's not much to say given it's the preseason.
Exactly. I was thinking that we could just go over each team and generally speak about how they did in the preseason and testing-wise, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Right. Okay. In that case, we will start alphabetically.
What
For
kind of heretical ordering system is this?
I was thinking reverse alphabetically.
Oh my god!
We're gonna go.
So we
real
start
crazy.
with the vowels?
Exactly.
Okay.
Don't be too enthusiastic, but
That's
No. If you want to go with the vowels first.
I do actually
Mr.
have
Favoritism.
to. Wow.
Wow.
Let me get them. Where are they? There's not actually a list that I can find of an alphabetic whatever. Okay.
I have it on the
That's because we
preseason
never made an
stats.
alphabetical list of the teams.
I have
hope
it on
you
the
did.
preseason stats.
I hate you.
I'll give
I
it
hate
to
you
you.
so much.
First is the vowels, next is the Super Saiyans, then the Saiyans, and let's just go.
Okay. Valkyrie.
Interestingly, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look like they've changed huge amounts
Right.
from the previous season. Like, I don't. Let's go have a look at builds, because that's a good way of looking at things. Where are builds? Yeah, like so the first season of the preseason was yeah, kind of, I don't know. Farsha was on a slightly more varied build. Pan seems to have taken over that particular build, and then they're very like expensive Patara heavy. You know,
Yeah.
every person there has at least a 2 or more, but then like, you know, most of their players have 3s and up. Were pretty interesting and expensive builds, but apart from that, there was nothing. I don't know. There's nothing hugely. There's not much to mention about them. They're very melee focused compared to the rest of the time. It's an interesting one on Farsha with the Key +1 and the Master Strike.
Yeah.
Quite sure that makes a huge amount of sense, but you know.
Yeah, well, I already had this argument with Gur. He basically asked me, "Hey, we're already using attack +1 and attack +2 help." So I just went, why not Key plus? Okay, cool.
And then, well, yeah, the logic doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, there's no that doesn't make any sense as to why you'd put as to why you'd have something that's giving you a boost to your supers and then making them less powerful for no real benefit. Like, you achieve exactly the same thing with quick fast attack on that, and it doesn't change that much.
I don't know.
So
They don't like her supers, if I remember correctly.
then they shouldn't be boosting key that much. Like, using a blue Patara
Hey.
on the key is probably not worthwhile in that case.
I know. Like I said, it was just a random suggestion that they went with. Because they were the only team that didn't get a build in for the first week. So it was like an emergency type thing.
No, that's fine. You know, if they're looking to get information out of that, then there's the feedback.
Yeah.
You know, the combination doesn't make a huge amount of sense. And again, in the second week, they're using a lot of like a decent number of expensive Pataras, which is pretty interesting. But
Yeah.
still with that Master Strike on Farsha, just this time with attack +2. I don't know, the performances weren't I don't know, they didn't perform terribly, but they did get. I certainly remember them getting outplayed in the most recent match.
They got out tagged. Damn straight. I think we had what 5 or 6 tags against them. Every single one of ED's members tagged. At least once. So.
Yep.
It's a pretty good record.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
we did.
it wasn't just that too. I mean, Fasha didn't really do
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
she's known for doing. So, yeah.
There we are then. Okay, so, right, let's go to the next.
You cut out HJK. The next one
swear
will
to
be the
God.
Super Saiyans.
That would
Okay,
be the
good.
Super
I
Saiyans.
thought maybe I cut out.
Paranoia right there.
Eh.
Oh yeah, the Super Saiyans are an interesting one. You know, obviously all being cut down to Super Saiyan 1, again with the exception of one of them that was already Super Saiyan 1.
Yeah.
I don't know which one that is. I don't know the Super Saiyans members, but was that
Gohan.
Gohan? Who wasn't
That was
in?
Gohan.
So, yeah. Unremarkable, actually, is what I would say about the Super Saiyans performances over both weeks. I mean, Trunks was pretty interesting. He did quite well.
In Vegeta was still a pretty
Yeah.
formidable foe, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's in
it was
Vegeta.
pretty
What's
good,
to be expected?
but-
Yeah.
I like how they went last year. He was like a really good melee character, like extremely solid, and they took him and went, you know what, let's flip it on his head, and now he is going to be a spammer.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
pretty
it
cool.
just shows it shows the depth that the Super Saiyans have in their players, and just how
Yeah.
balanced they are. And if
How versatile.
if that's something they can use this season, that could be really, really good for them. And the builds themselves seem to be completely fine. I mean, there's nothing special. I like the use of Warrior Lineage on End Goku with that melee build. That's cool. But yeah, no, they're just looking like a good start for a team that last season had a lot of fans, and this season is pretty much just Crimson Flame. Hopefully for them that'll pick up over the season. But no,
Yeah,
there's
I
some
wonder.
good-
You
there's
think
some
everyone
good
left
solid builds.
because everyone left because we nerfed him?
Uh,
Super Saiyan 2s were out. No, I'm
I-
sure
I have
they
no
had
idea.
reasons.
Probably
Yeah.
just the fact that the season had ended and people drifted away. It
Yeah.
happens.
I think it's a combination of HAK, Himmel
Yeah.
leaving, along with being nerfed, along with the season ending, just everything at once, kind of killed it for them. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean the message HK left in that sub forum when he left was just horrible. I mean, really.
Yeah.
If I'm not
What an
there,
asshole.
who really wants to be there? Let's be honest.
Crimson Flame,
Better
apparently.
people,
Wow.
obviously.
Nicer people.
Ouch. Next team, the Saiyans.
Yes.
I was expecting more
King
from Nappa.
Vegeta.
Really, I was hoping for more from Nappa because I thought they'd got him fixed. I was hoping they'd do a really good performance, and Nappa was.
Yeah, Nappa was Nappa.
He wasn't their problem child anymore, at least, but he wasn't really impressive
Yeah.
either. Raditz was more impressive.
Yeah, no, Raditz was good. I mean, Raditz was a good pickup. There was a big debate in the Saints subforum as to whether they were gonna pick up Raditz. Was pretty much the way their thinking was.
Yeah.
And it was a case of who do we drop? And I don't know. Like the testing that they did over the off season, from what I understood, was very, very promising with both Nappa and Turles.
Mhm.
And for King Vegeta, it wasn't that great. But I don't know. I don't think either of the performances, the second thing with in the second week with Turles using the fruit was cool. It was good.
Mhm.
But I don't know whether the performances that those two put on Jesus Christ, I've been drinking too much. Put on during the preseason was actually worth dropping arguably one of their better players last season, and their only player that went elite. So
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a
was
really
shocked
weird choice.
that, I was shocked that they got rid of King Vegeta. He's a good character.
Yeah, he's a fantastic character. He's one of the best.
And he was
honestly,
also one of the only characters on their team that could go ape without needing a night map.
That's also true. So it's a really, really weird decision, and
Yeah.
from
the
those
truth
couple
of
of
the matter,
games for the
if I-
preseason,
If I was completely honest and I was the Saiyans, I would before week 1, I'd probably drop Nappa and take King Vegeta.
I agree.
That's what I would do.
Yep. I mean, you guys still got it. You can still do it. You still got,
Yeah. You've got like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Wink, wink, nudge,
Yeah,
nudge.
there's still time, but I
Yeah.
don't think they will. I think it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, I doubt they will.
But in my opinion, it would certainly be the better choice. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Because for all the reasons you listed, I mean, he can go ape without needing the moon. Nappa can't. King Vegeta was the only one last season to go elite, and it wasn't like it was a fluke. He was a good.
I know he was a good player all the time.
Yeah.
He had his derp moments, sure,
Yeah,
but
but
he was
everyone
a
does.
solid member of that team. And you didn't have to worry about him trying to eat fruit. You didn't have to worry about him trying to use Volcanic Explosion, which I'm sorry, is a B2 that just does not hit.
Yeah. When you have a B2 that relies on a character derping in order for it to hit, that's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
I love Nappa, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's the moves that the character himself has are not all that impressive.
And look at it this way too. Nappa's ultimate, easily dodged beam move. King Vegeta's ultimate, when he does use it, it's a rush move, harder to dodge.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have no idea why they chose Nappa over. Well, no, I'll tell you what. That's why I was expecting so much more from Nappa, because I figured if they chose Nappa over King Vegeta, they must have found something special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even if they did through the testing, it didn't pan out.
Nope.
So
like I said, you guys, unless there's some super game plan that we're not seeing, like maybe, and we can't ignore the idea that they purposely did not give Nappa their build that they wanted for the preseason or whatnot.
True. Nappa's build has changed. Like the builds are almost completely different. Well, they're very different. Over the 2 weeks. So it could be that they sort of panicked and looked for another way out. I don't know.
But yeah,
I honestly don't think
either way,
that's a
I mean,
good choice.
I would say I would seriously suggest looking at trading Nappa for King Vegeta because it's not too late.
You still have time.
And I would find that hilarious because then Muscle could maybe pick up Nappa, but I doubt they would.
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to now after our ringing endorsement.
Yeah, definitely.
Nappa's awesome, guys. He's totally better.
He's one of the best.
Yeah.
The next team on our list is the Rugrats.
Yes.
The Rugrats, eh? Well, they still like their Clash Patars.
Yeah, they still like their Clash Patars. They still rely heavily on Gotenks. And
Yeah,
Cell
relying on
Jr.
Gotenks
did.
is not necessarily a bad thing. We'll give it
Yeah,
that.
it's not necessarily a bad thing, but if he's gone, then there goes your ace of.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's the risk of Gotenks. He's a very powerful character, but
Well, now, are we going to say that they still heavily rely upon Gotenks? They only used him 1 week. Week 2, they purposely shut him off, so we don't know that.
Yeah.
they could be
relying
testing
on
for when
him.
he's not there. So
Exactly. Yeah,
That is
that's
true.
That's the problem with the preseason. It's so hard to know if what they're gonna do. So, but I would still say that if they want to rely upon Gotenks so heavily, he needs to perform a bit better. He did great last season. I think he was a help to the team last season.
No, absolutely.
But they need to make sure or find a way to so make it consistent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ichi did great week 2. I mean, that was really fun to watch.
Yeah, and I will admit, Cell Jr. with Power Body is actually pretty legit. I have to say.
Mm-hmm. GT Goku though, that flippin' fan fiction.
Yeah,
He
that
needs work.
headcanon.
What happened to him? He was so powerful. Put him back on his melee build. It was brutal.
God.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I don't know what it is like with that build, but I remember last season the Rugrats were saying, "Oh, that build really isn't very good," when that was the only build that he performed on. I don't know where that perception's come from. With the new coach coming in, I was expecting at least some, kind of change of the way things are done. Perhaps look at some new ideas and some changing things up and actually making a different setup of things. But
Well, They are sort of trying him on his lower forms, ish.
Yeah, but they
I don't
found
know.
something last season that worked on, let's be completely honest here, with the exception of like a couple of games for most of the players, it was a pretty abysmal season for the Rugrats.
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely.
it wasn't something that you'd look at and say, wow, this is really something that we, want to, continue on with. It wasn't like they
Right.
can look at it and say, hey, listen, right, this all worked last season, and this is doing well for us this, in the tests that we've done. So what we'll do is we'll change up this character, and see what we can do with them from there. It's a case of, okay, here was one of our strongest characters last season. Let's change him up.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Just
Well,
just doesn't make much sense.
Again, like I said, if you're gonna do it, preseason's the time to do it.
That is true.
Just,
That is true.
and like I said, I mean, we could be completely, week 1 starts GT Goku's melee build all the way,
Mhm.
and that
Oh,
would be
absolutely.
the right call. I honestly, I will straight out tell you, unless you've got something hidden under your sleeve, that is the right call because he didn't do anything worth noting in the preseason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we only saw him 1 week in the preseason.
Yep.
Should have performed then. It's not
Yeah.
good enough.
Should have been.
I mean,
amazing.
we have to go off, one match at a time.
Mhm.
In terms of, what we've got to go, what we've got to work with. So, if players
Yeah.
don't perform, and they had the
There
opportunity
is-
to, then you
there
have
is
to
one
expect the
build
performance.
I've wanted them to try over and over and over, and I kept practically begging them last season or pushing the idea, trying to rely a bit more on his transformation into Super Saiyan 4. Start him off with 3 on a tank build,
Mm-hmm.
because Super Saiyan 4, it doesn't matter if he's got key bonuses, melee bonuses, doesn't matter. The longer he stays out, the more damage he does. And it's Super Saiyan 4. He's naturally better at everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I mean that meh.
You
Anyways.
could say that about a Super Saiyan 3 too. You know how they end up.
Dead.
Well, that's your
Hmm.
Super Saiyan 3, or used to be your Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, and we all
The
know
venom
Saiyans
I'm
weren't very
getting.
good.
I pop up with a single remark. Shut up,
Yeah.
HJK.
No, I never told you to
No,
shut up.
no,
You're welcome to
no,
carry on, as long
no.
as you provide yourself as a target. I don't mind.
Here's the thing, though. I would have loved to see you guys start him off on Super Saiyan 3.
So would
Because I
we.
think his
Yeah,
I
so
think
would
his
they, but
melee.
he didn't let them.
Yeah. Well, not this season. Last season.
I would love to see
Even
the Saiyans
then-
start all their people in giant ape form. I think it would really help them.
Come on, man.
No,
Come on.
no, Burn. They're never allowed to start him in Super Saiyan 3. We drew lines at some point.
Aw.
They asked like in season 2, and I was like, no.
His melee is so good. All
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
All his other forms are fucking terrible.
They are. They are.
Nah, I'm
Oh,
just
dear.
kidding. There are a few things that you can do with Endegoku. Anyways,
Anyways, on to,
Namix.
Yes, the Namix, the next team in our list.
Team that didn't do very, didn't really take advantage of the off season, like at all.
Nope. And they're about at the same level they were last season, which is not
Yeah.
horrible. Not I would say they're a good team.
Yeah, they're a
I
solid
think-
team. They're always going to be a
yeah.
threat, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
King
no
Piccolo
improvement.
is devastating, and there was a really nice performance from early Piccolo last week, but yeah, I'm worried too. They didn't utilize the offseason at all. Most of their characters are on similar builds that they had before. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Although, if I remember correctly, there was some confusion with tests. Like, they only did so many tests because one of the testers wasn't pumping them out as fast as possible.
Yeah,
So
but they
they
weren't
weren't-
requesting tests.
there was that as well.
that is
Like,
true.
the number of test requests that they had compared to the other teams was a lot lower.
Yeah, if I remember
believe
correctly,
Rebel
there
and I
was three.
were looking at it, and we're like halfway through the offseason. They requested like one test.
Yeah.
Tests.
In the entire offseason, they requested like 3 or 4.
So that's not
Which, I
really,
mean-
that's not really an issue of it's not getting pumped out. It's you
Yeah.
weren't utilizing. And look, I mean, The truth is, if we sound like we're being a bit harsh, it's because, you can't expect your team to continue to evolve if you're not going to use your testing. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
I really think it was a mistake not to utilize it.
Yeah, like there was a huge range of tests that you could do, and I will always caution against taking tests completely at face value, but they're still useful. They still provide information that you weren't, like you just didn't have any information.
Especially when you're
So-
talking about the number of tests that teams were throwing out. I mean, there were teams that were throwing out dozens and dozens of tests during the off season.
Yeah. And that puts you obviously at a disadvantage. I don't care how much experience you think you have, and how solid you think your team is. It's not that good, and especially when it comes to the Namex. They're a solid team. They're always going to be a threat, but at the end of the day, they are not the top team. So, it was a weird thing. It was a weird thing for them to do. But yeah, the performance was, there was some interesting, there were some good performances, but apart from that, I mean, there's not that much. It is quite nice to see a lot of the teams actually in the preseason, really trialing the Draconic Aura, Patara, especially now since the power bodies come in. I think that's quite funny.
Mm-hmm.
How many of their matches did they win?
I don't know off the top of my head what the results were.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you got me.
Oh,
Yeah, we're good.
we are the best.
Around.
I'm sure they did great. Next team is Team Muscle.
Impressive.
Yeah.
They
It seems
did
like
well.
Muscle are finally getting into, being Muscle. I
Yes.
mean, after, 2 seasons of
Mm-hmm.
being pretty unimpressive generally. The odd decent performance, but, generally pretty unimpressive. They're actually starting to do okay again. And it's certainly about time, and I think they're probably going to be a reasonably big threat this season.
I agree.
Garlic Jr. is actually doing pretty damn well.
Yeah, he's certainly not doing badly.
There's Bugjack.
Yeah.
Kind of scary, really. I don't really have anything else to say about Muscle. I'm still feeling a bit bitter that they won the gold last season. But
You were knocked out pretty early. Same with
I've-
me.
I've put that out of my mind due to trauma. I've blocked it. I blocked it. It never happened.
I think that's really why you left the Super Saiyans. You were like, all right, I'm out.
Fucking
You got knocked
salty.
out.
So salty.
So much
Pretty
salt.
much. Exactly. All that salt. No pepper, just salt. Next team is the Margins.
Yeah, the freaking week 1, Bobbity did shit.
Woohoo!
Bobbity spammed.
Yeah, but see, here's the problem, though. Bobbity did stuff. Bobbity was cool. Bobbity was much improved. The team overall was unimpressive.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious because I've only been briefly glancing over what tests are being requested and stuff. The Namex, Margins, and Muscle. How many tests? Because I know the Namex didn't do them, and I don't think Muscle did either, did they?
Muscle did a lot of one-ofs or a lot of testing against Frieza. They did about, I want to say 30.
Right. Oh, right. Okay. What about
30 or
Margins?
40? Majins did. It depends on whether you count me using Spopovich or not.
No.
No, then quite a bit more than Muscle. I want to say 60.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's just the lack of me paying attention.
Yeah. Most of it was just trying to determine, oh yeah, this character is pretty good on default. Let's see what they do with this. Let's see what they do with this. Let's see what they do
Right.
with this. Yeah.
And it
All
seems like they
against-
brought that default AI out into the preseason matches, which is really interesting.
Default AI apparently seems to be what's best for most of their characters. I mean, there are a couple
I mean,
that...
default AI generally isn't a bad idea. It's something that
Yeah.
people seem to neglect quite a lot.
Yeah. I think there's a stigma that default just is not as good for some reason.
that it's not. I mean, there is... It's a good AI. Default is good.
Yeah.
It has just as much of a chance of being good, if not more of a chance of being good than the other AIs.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, again, nothing. I don't. They were fine. Bobbity was a bit better than normal. I mean, there's not much. Again, it's the preseason, guys. There's not a huge amount for us to go over.
Mm-hmm. And
So-
some of the builds were probably experimental. Blah blah blah. Gohans.
So, Margins, go away. You're boring. Gohans, you're up next.
Gohan did a lot of punching.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yes,
A
they
lot
did.
of punching.
A lot.
Sayman was pretty goddamn good, which he was at the end of the last season as well.
Which is the Gohan that does that the fun grab?
Fun grab? You mean the junk shot?
No. The grab, you idiot.
Future
The
throw
grab
thing.
with one hand?
Sure.
The one that
Future
slams
Gohan.
into the ground?
Yeah,
Future
that one.
Gohan.
Yeah, he was good. I like him.
Yeah.
He's a good character.
I'm glad he has your seal of approval, Rebel.
God.
That's perfect analysis there. That is Zcast standard. The one with the
That's
grab.
what we're here for.
I like him. He's been doing that grab since season 2.
Yeah.
Since he was first introduced.
Yeah, I think
I like
it's
him.
finally time that he gets some recognition.
Oh, dear.
Rebel's careful.
Yeah.
He wants to make sure that this grab is sticking around. It's not like a flash in the pan type of thing.
Absolutely.
You know?
We all know what Future Gohan's like.
No. The Gohans have always been pretty damn powerful.
God, Burn, stop trying to make
Naturally.
it serious again.
There's always
Jeez.
one. There's always
Fine,
one,
I'll
isn't
just
there?
go back to playing WoW. Jesus.
It's where you worst. Good.
You stop
Stay
playing
there.
WoW. I thought that was in your contract. You don't do Zcast if you're not playing WoW at the same time.
Well, I wasn't last time. Jeez.
No,
Wow.
HJK, his contract.
Oh,
not yours.
okay, good.
Everyone's got their own contract.
Yeah, mine's awesome.
Yeah, believe it or not, HJK has to wear something that is some shade of pink. I know you can't see him, but it doesn't change his contract.
And
It's
it
salmon.
has
It's
to
salmon.
be one item of clothing.
What, he's
so I
just
get
wearing
a feeling
a
of
salmon
freedom as well.
Yes.
Right.
Where
Yeah.
I'm just wearing a t-shirt. Just picture that.
He's wearing a t-shirt with a salmon taped to it.
Look,
Um,
I just make the contract. I try not to tell them how to interpret it. I'm benevolent that way.
It says to wear a t-shirt. Doesn't say to wear anything else. So I like a bit of a breeze. It's quite nice and relaxing.
I'm not gonna check your house if you got a breeze, man.
I do it outside.
Oh, right, okay, well, that makes
Silly
it
Rebel.
HJK just sits out in his front yard and records Zcast.
Yeah, I'm just in the street wearing just a shirt, a salmon shirt,
And a
on
microphone
windy day.
and a headset and cables leading all the way back to the house. Yep.
It's nice. I like it here.
Good times.
Anyway, enough about me. On to the Ginyu Force.
Oh, the Ginyu Force. There's some improvement there. There's some good things to look forward to. Goldo seems to be doing better. Jace was up to his usual self. Honestly, I think here's what I think. If Goldo can keep up that level of performance and they can improve on Ginyu, they will be a solid team. Not an elite team, not a North Kai team, but a solid team.
Yeah, I think that's always been the case for the Ginyu Force too, honestly. Yeah, they've just got those two really weak players that, really let them down on a regular basis, but, I don't know. It's, an interesting build for the first week of the preseason and then a completely different one for the second, so, I don't know. And the same goes for, Ginyu? No, that build's just rearranged. Sorry. Yeah, so, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm going to be curious to see how they do. It's always interesting to watch the Ginyu Force because they're such a diverse team, but I don't know. I wasn't hugely impressed. I'd like to see Goldo doing some improvement, but apart from that, it's about what you expect.
Bit of a slow burner.
Right.
Yeah.
And on that
Yeah.
note, we will ignore the Ginyu Force because they're also boring. Earth's Defenders. Speaking
No, we
of
can
boring.
skip over them because they're pretty boring.
Yeah, it's about to say.
Our builds didn't really fucking matter. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
what do you
we'll,
mean?
we'll
Burn?
be completely honest. We were just throwing crap on people. we didn't want to tip any hands during the preseason, so we were just like, Halo Yansha? Yeah, sure. What the hell?
The hilarious thing is that
Yeah.
I actually did shit. That was great.
Or
Yeah, I'm
or
surprised.
I was gonna say, or did we?
Oh.
Maybe we
Hmm.
meant these builds. Maybe all these builds were tests from super secret spy stuff.
Well, you
What-
heard it here
what
first.
direction
everyone.
It's like it's the mind games within the mind games. It just looks like it's such a weird off the wall build that no one will take it seriously, and then it'll hit them out of nowhere.
You've put a lot
They'll be
thought
like,
into
they,
these
can't,
builds.
they must be playing with us. They're not really going to use this build in the season, and they're going to be like, oh my god, this build.
I definitely created a new meta. 4-point Pataras on everybody.
Apart from
except
Goku, what the fuck, dude?
I wasn't allowed.
What? I wanted to
Fuck.
see for like fucking Dragon Crush +2 or Vanishing Break +2. That would have been fucking amazing.
So what? I actually
Like
wanted to
Unleash
put
Latent
Halo.
Power 3, that would have been great.
I wanted to put Halo, but no,
No, you
no,
can't,
team didn't
nah.
want to.
So I banned them.
Yes, I banned my own team members for disagreeing with me.
Yeah,
totally.
Disobeying me.
Yes.
He's finally
this is
learned.
American freedom of speech, ladies and gentlemen.
He's finally learned. I have nothing left to teach you.
Just you
But
wait,
yeah,
he's gonna be
I
coming
mean-
for you soon.
Earth Defenders wasn't even being fucking serious at all. I mean,
Yeah,
none
Earth
of the
Defenders know they
builds-
haven't got a chance next season, so you
shut up.
know.
None of the builds, save for maybe one. I'll let you guess which one. Was like sort of serious kind testing. That the rest were just throwaway trash.
And just remember, viewers, humble viewers, if you guess the right one, you get a free iPhone.
No.
You can fulfill that promise, HJK.
Yeah.
Me,
I'm
no,
not
Burn
anywhere
said.
near
Burn
it.
said he would. It was in his contract.
No.
Oh, okay.
It was in that contract, Burn. You need to read the fine print.
Robbing me.
God.
No, you agreed to it, dude. You can't. Come on.
You even
Seriously,
offered
though,
the challenge,
I'm-
so I just assumed you realised. But you know,
Look, Burn, I don't know about this, but I trust HJK. So
see,
Also,
I
why
trust that
would
if
you
he
say?
says it, that I trust it because he wouldn't lie.
Sorry.
you also have up to 4 guesses. If any one of them are right, you get it.
In all honesty, I ain't getting anybody shit. Just saying.
Ooh.
Oh, fighting talk. Fighting
Reneging
talk
on his
here.
contract. I think this is cause to take him to the courts.
To the
Oh,
death
shit.
chamber.
Well, that afterwards. I thought I'd be
Wow.
jumping the gun if I didn't do it. Yeah.
to the
Jesus.
firing range.
Why am I here?
Anyway,
My
the
amusement,
next
I think.
team, the next team, Dragon Ball Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're a team.
I'm looking
Oh,
at their
wow.
stats, the ones that have been done. So I guess the first week, and it's not great. Not great for week
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, they kind of got wrecked just a bit.
Pilaf was alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were impressive. I thought they were as
Talented,
a
okay.
team. They were impressive the first week, just not so much. No.
The first week
I
they
mean,
did
the second week they were
60,000
up
total.
against. Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
second week they were up against Muscle, so.
Right.
And Muscle really came out punching, so, I don't know.
God, the
Yeah.
Android 13 was back to his scary self. So yeah, I mean, what are you gonna
Yeah,
do
he did
against that
pretty
kind of thing? Pilaf did well. Early Goku. I don't think he's a detriment to the team. I don't think he's the star player they may have been hoping for.
No.
But yeah, and of course everyone else looked about their usual.
Yeah, it's going to be
Yeah.
kind of similar to the dynamics in that regard. I mean, it'll be really interesting to see, how they progress from last season. Because I think one of the things, one of the real strengths of the Dragon Ball Warriors is moving more towards the mid and late point of the season, where they're really able to sit down and predict teams and counter them really nicely. And I think that's the point that we'll see the Dragon Ball Warriors coming into their own.
Agreed.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them have maybe a poor start to the season, perhaps. And then come back fighting at the end.
Yeah, that's what ED did last time.
Or they'll just start tagging like balls again and just beat everyone through attrition.
Yeah.
One of the two, I would say, yeah.
Or they'll just lose everything. I mean, you know.
Every single game. Yep.
Forever.
If anything, that's more likely.
Oh,
Yep.
oh.
The next team is Team Derp.
Meh.
Oh, poor Team Derp.
I mean, they've got Devilman. I don't know.
Devilman can do crazy stuff.
Here's the thing. Despite what my co-host says all the time, Supreme Kai did nothing last season. So I don't think that's a bad move because I think Devilman's done more in the preseason than Supreme Kai did all last season. I mean, I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, but the point is that
I actually just disagree. Full stop. Like the thing is, you know, the Team Derp has a new coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were last season spending huge amounts of time razzing on Team Derp, the fact that they're not changing their builds, the fact that they're not altering their lineup and their setup, and then, you know, things are just basically staying the same, and they were paying the price for it. Yeah. It was, you know, a well-deserved price that they paid, and they lost huge numbers of games, and they did really, really poorly, especially given the season that they had the season before.
Right.
Now, one of their arguably potentially strongest characters that was on quite possibly the most static and the worst builds was Supreme Kai. Now, I don't know what the circumstances of getting rid of Supreme Kai in favor of Devilman were, whether or not that was a team decision and, you know, maybe the coach disagreed, or, you know, just the team wanted Supreme Kai gone, or whether that was a completely unanimous thing. I don't remember. I don't really mind to go back and have a look. But it's a very weird choice to me to take someone who is just naturally worse, with the exception of maybe if he fires his ultimate off against someone who's quite evil. You know, that's his redeeming feature. You know, his melee is unimpressive. Does he have key balls or not? I don't remember. Is he one of those?
Yeah,
that
he
doesn't
does.
have-
I think he does.
He does.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, his B2s themselves are not actually that good. They're pretty weak.
Not really.
Yeah,
with Super Plus
7K.
That's for Fork Toss. With Super Plus 1, the
Well,
Demon
just by
Fork Rush.
base.
Okay, by base, Demon Fork Rush does about 9.
Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
Well, with Super Plus 1, it does almost 11.
Yeah.
That
The thing about it, though, the
doesn't-
reason why I'm for it for the most part is that here's the thing. I agree the Supreme Kai might have the potential, but without being able to watch all their tests and everything they did in the offseason, I don't judge based off of, or I don't feel I should judge based off of what Supreme Kai might be, because I don't know. But I do know what he was last season, and that was pretty much a non-factor. Supreme Kai really was
you
a
also,
non-factor.
I imagine you also acknowledge the circumstances that he was a non-factor.
Oh, yes, of course. But that's what I'm saying, though. While I acknowledge that those were the circumstances he was a non-factor, I can't say that if they change his build, he would be amazing, because I don't know. I say that it would be worth a try, but I don't know they didn't try that, and I don't know that Devilman didn't just outperform him even when they tried to give him a better build. The only thing I, as a commentator, you know, looking from the outside looking in, can really judge on his performance, not what he could do. I think the Supreme Kai has potential, but it's very, very possible that they tested that potential and found it lacking compared to Devilman, because I don't know.
Mhm. Plus, it's a moot point anyways, because they have to have a season of Devilman anyways.
What?
I mean, they still... That was the rules. If you
What?
pick up a character, you have to have a season of them.
Oh, well, yeah, but we're talking about the original choice.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't care whether or not they can go back on that choice. That's
Yeah.
not really relevant. I'm questioning the choice itself.
Well, fine then.
You know, it's like questioning builds and saying they
I'll
can't go
just
back
sit
and
in this
change the
corner
builds
and
for
be
week 3
quiet.
again. But you know,
No,
Fuck.
basically, my thinking was, or here's how I felt about it. I thought it was odd at first that they said we're taking Devilman over Supreme Kai, and they said basically we tested Supreme Kai, we tested Devilman, and Devilman just did a lot better. And considering what Supreme Kai did last time, I had to just take their word. You know what I mean? Like I said, okay, I could see this happening. I could see you testing him and coming up with these results. Because Supreme Kai did nothing last season, and while he might get better with better builds, in fact, I would say he would get better, I don't know how much better.
yeah, true. Which is, you know, where my theory of the potential comes in. I think he's just a better character, full stop. But hey, you know, they've done it. They're gonna have to deal with it for this season, and you know, we'll see. I mean, I could be completely wrong. Devilman might end up being one of the best players next season, but I think Supreme Kai. I could have easily seen Supreme Kai in the top 10 of this season with actual proper builds, focused correctly, and worked with the team properly and changed when it was relevant to change and put up against people that he should have been put up against. Then I could have definitely seen him going, you know, to the top 10 of players this season. I don't think I can see that with Devilman unless something spectacular happens.
I will at least say this. I remember when Devilman was actually in the season, I think he was with Dragon Ball Warriors. He was not a bad player. I remember being very surprised that Dragon Ball Warriors dropped him because, yes, his ultimate wasn't the best because it was very situational, but he was actually really, really good at connecting with his B2s, and he was one of their better players, I thought. I always thought it was weird that they dropped him. So I think that Devilman has potential to be a good player.
I think he has potential. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not convinced that, you know, I don't imagine that he's going to be a bad player necessarily, but I don't think he'll be as good as Supreme Kai could have been.
Yeah, I would. If you asked me which one I think had more potential, I would agree with you. I just hope that Team Derp tested that and found out the answer themselves.
Yeah.
Well, okay. The next team is Team Cold.
Team Cold looked done good. It's a nice change.
And the next team.
What? I was expecting someone else to chime in with stuff then. I mean, you know, they're starting, you know, a talking point could there be starting Freezer in third form? Which is a very interesting choice. You know,
I think that's an interesting choice. I'm interested to see if that's something they keep during the course of the season. He was relatively unimpressive during the preseason. Or I'll put it this way. He certainly was not as effective as Frieza in first form without Broly's ring has been in the past.
No, he absolutely wasn't. Like, you know, you're talking about a character there that can literally, and has done, against the top teams, turn the game on its head single-handedly.
So I'm wondering if third form did what they wanted it to and they'll keep it, or if it has some potential they want to stick with, or if they're like, we tried it, it did not work, we're going back to first form. I am really interested to see what Team Cold does in week 1.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. I'm very, very interested to see whether, because obviously they're going to have to keep that transformation going forward in the season.
Yep.
You know, the transformation that they end up settling on. So that's going to be really, really interesting. I think third form's, if you look at like the build that he's been put on, it's really, really interesting. You know, you're looking at a Patara like Master Blast, which is really weird to me. You know, the rush blasts on that thing are very spammy, very throwy out, and they're very powerful, but they're actually not that accurate.
No.
You know, if you compare that to like fourth form, where there's not, like, it's an interesting choice to me to go third form rather than fourth form. Because in the fourth form, you have basically, you know, if you want, that gives you the access to something like Eternal Life while still maintaining actually a really powerful character that can transform and gain energy rather than life. And gives you, you know, your team in general a much wider range without having to use Broly's ring to achieve that. And the Rush Blasts are much better. So, and, you know, arguably the B2s and certainly the fucking Ultimate are a lot better. So, I don't know.
I mean, it gives you access to Barrage Death Beam, which is what makes Perfect Cell, like, that's what makes him so goddamn dangerous.
Mhm.
He's at 1v2 because of how good it tracks and how many barrages goes out. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, and I mean his other
But-
B2 is the
I
is
will
that
die
really
this
short
time.
range? Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a really really nice B2.
I don't think it's short range. It's sort of mid range, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's
but
shorter than like a long beam though.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so it's an interesting choice. I'm certainly not convinced by third form. I could have seen an argument for second form. I think second form's pretty good. You know, B2's pretty good. That melee's arguably pretty decent.
The ultimate's fun.
Ultimate's good, yeah. And then you look at something like fourth form, where you know the character himself is really fucking powerful. You know, you lose out on that health transformation, but it probably won't. You know, that's probably a reasonable trade for you to make in that situation. For that, you know, for the kind of potential character that you're getting, it's the same cut that the androids have, you know, had to consider with putting Broly's ring on perfect form Cell. So it's an interesting one. I think third form's the weirdest choice, and I can see the logic behind it, but it's certainly a weird choice.
I honestly, I don't think they were using it right. If I was going to use Frieza in third form, I would have every Rush Blast boost I could find, because that is impressive.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Either that or just a full-on melee, because that melee is ridiculously good. I don't think, you know, if you're looking at the builds there, you've got, you know, attack up 2, serious fighting spirit, master blast, launch support, and Broly's ring. It's a very balanced kind of build. You know, bit of a focus on rush blasts there, bit of a focus on melee, but it's not. There's a lot of charging up in there. You know, you're putting 3 points there into charging up and getting the key, which is naturally going to lead to, you know, non-rush blasts being thrown out. And his charge rate isn't terrible anyway, so I don't know. It's a weird decision. I think it could pay off. I don't think, you know, his rush blasts, while they're very powerful, I don't think they're as good as fourth forms either. So I don't know. Be interesting to see.
Yeah,
I don't think the
it's a
character's
gambit.
as good as either.
Yeah, it's a gambit. In fact, I do think they got all the rush blast things they could toss on him. Because Tac plus 2 and Sirius are, along with Master Blast, are pretty much it. But it's basically focused
What are you
around rush
talking
blasts.
about? If you're going for
What?
Rush Blast, no, you put on the actual Patara for Rush Blasts.
You do know that doesn't stack with Master Blast, right?
Yeah, you just get rid of Master Blast because the other one's much better.
Rush Blast 3 is the same exact bonus as Master Blast, except you don't have the attack down.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of something different then. I'm
You
not
might
gonna
be.
actually argue with you on that one. You've made a spreadsheet on these things, so
Yes.
maybe I am thinking
The-
a bit differently then.
The upside for Master Blast is it gives you the same exact everything. The half key usage, the increased speed, and the plus 50% damage for Rush Blasts. However, you get minus 13% damage in your smash attacks and rush attacks.
Mm.
So it's basically an attack minus 1. For 1
I
point.
see.
For a build that's
Or-
based on rush pass, I'm not sure that's worth it.
Yeah.
Yep.
To be honest with you, I'd get rid of Master Blast, take Rush Blast 3, and then actually just, you know, beef things up in other ways. Because that, you know, if you're not doing, you know, Rush Blasts are cool, but you still need something else to go in there, and Melee's pretty much your best option. So, I don't know.
Well, you would have to get rid of launches support as well, if I remember correctly, because Rush Blast 3 is a 3-point.
That's fine. You don't need launch support.
Yeah, you don't. I'm just saying that's why the build is like that. Is it's basically super focused on Rush Blasts.
Yeah.
Not saying it's the best.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's an interesting choice. It's an interesting build. I you know, like I said, I'm not convinced by it, but hey, it might work out. I might be wrong.
Okay, cool. The next team is the Boos.
Boos are back. The Boos are back. They're back. They're fucking awesome, and I love them. And Scutty's amazing.
Yeah, they
I'm done.
kind of had a misstep on the first week, but I think that was mostly due to derping.
They
This
got
week,
Majin
however,
Buu back. He works.
yes,
Yes,
he
he
fucking
does.
works. He
He's
threw out
beautiful.
goddamn 8 B2s,
Oh,
if I remember correctly.
Boo's cool.
Fucking 8. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Team's no longer Kid Buu. Yeah.
Yes.
That makes me
Hooray!
happy. I missed the Boos from previous season where they fucking
I know,
dominated
same here.
everyone. It was great.
Yeah.
I think
Look.
Goating's Boo is going to be amazing too.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Like the potential for sleep on that team.
Dude,
That is
they
so
have
cool.
they have 3 characters with a health regen B1.
Yeah,
It's
great.
oh.
The potential on that team is terrifying. I mean, like that could
it
be
is.
awesome. You know, they've got a full season to figure out how to get it working and get themselves nerfed. It's great.
Yep.
It's great.
In before the nerf.
Who needs the actual, championship? It's the nerf you really want to get.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's
Proves
what
you
you
did a
want.
good job.
Isn't that right, HJK?
That is right. Believe me.
Speaking of nerfs, let's go on to the blades.
Yes. Why?
Now,
When were the blades nerfed? Have I
oh,
missed
there
something?
was a certain thing that came up. Some of the team thought that Yajirobe was kind of going to be a little bit OP on Celebi, and spam Senzu beans, but we didn't see him during the preseason, so we'll just have to.
And that was kind of a thing, though. I was talking to him about it because I told them, they said, can we do this? And I said, yes, we're going to ask you. We're probably going to ask you to, test him out in the preseason and see how that goes. And, of course, we didn't see him in the preseason. And they sent me a message going after the preseason saying, was that something we, were supposed to do? Was that a mandatory thing? And I was like, kind of, yes. That was the whole point, was for you to play him on preseason so we can see how this works. And you didn't. So...
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering if I should let them use this build or not.
Well, here's the way. Here's the way I would do that. We were going to use the preseason as the way of testing that out.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. We didn't get that opportunity to do that. Now, usually we refrain from nerfing stuff in the middle of the season,
right?
But that's because it's usually been found during the season. If you think about the way that a lot of the stuff that we found has worked, it's done within the season. We've not really had the opportunity to test it out there.
Right.
I think it's worthwhile giving it the chance because we see things that happen in tests and in things that happen, when people try things out that are completely different to the way they work in the main season. And I don't think that turning around and nerfing a character that's been notably bad in the past and has only just started being solid that quickly, just on the off chance it might happen. So
Yeah.
I think we give it time. We see,
I agree.
but
Yeah.
I think it's worth saying now before the season starts that because they didn't try it out in the preseason, and they were asked to, that they accept the fact that that may be nerfed during the main season. I think that's reasonable. I mean, obviously
Depending
we can
on-
talk about this in the staff if we feel that's necessary, but I think that seems like a reasonable way of doing things given what they were asked to do.
And hence why I wanted to bring it up. To give
Yeah,
some
more.
warning.
so
reasonable to
and I agree. That's a perfectly fair thing to do. So what we'll do is I'm curious to see if it works.
Yeah, I think it's very weird that they
Mhm.
didn't try that out in the preseason. To be honest with you, I think that would have been something that if you could have sat down and said, "Hey, listen, there's this opportunity for us here to use this quite
I actually
frequently."
think that's going to be not a mark against them, but kind of a bad sign because it to me says maybe he's been so consistent they haven't needed to test it.
Yeah, no, I
And
think
if he's
that's likely. Yeah.
consistent, I see a nerf coming, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
It's something that we'll need to keep an eye on and look at. I for one won't make any promises one way or another.
Mhm.
It's something that we need to look at and something that we will look at. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Finally, the androids.
the androids are cool.
Mhm.
I like Cell.
Me too.
Cell's
Yeah,
fun.
Cell was good.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, no, I think the androids have got a decent season coming up for them.
Mhm.
You know, they ended last season very, very strongly. They've got a new coach this season.
Yep.
And we'll see. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. There's not much there that I saw that was particularly impressive. I mean, 17 was as good as he always is. Not
Yeah.
convinced about
On
the build
Power Body.
itself, but it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he performed well enough, which is fine. Cell was obviously really good, which is nice to see. You know, having Cell actually doing well again is really cool.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Apart from that,
Well,
Yeah,
To be
I'm
fair,
a little
the-
disappointed that 20 wasn't up to his postseason self.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
But other than that, it was good. It was a good show. I think, like you said, they've got a strong season ahead of them.
mhm.
Already 1 week into the season, there's already Cell's already elite. So
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that doesn't
and
count.
supposedly 16 is elite, but I'm gonna need to check that later.
we need to
Either way,
verify
it doesn't
that.
count. They're not
Yeah.
elite.
Yeah,
They're
they're
not
not.
elite. They don't get
reals.
any
They're not for
badges.
reals elite. They're for play elite.
Yeah,
They're
all
faking
the,
it.
Playground.
all the
They're not
stats
that
and
cool.
everything will be there, but they will not count during the main season. None of them will count. Because if a character can become elite in the preseason, they can become elite in the main season when
Unless it was a fluke.
people are well, even if it's against a fluke. A lot of teams were just fucking around, not really doing real builds, doing test builds.
What kind of cretin would do that? That's completely against.
Actually,
Oh, wait.
Burn. That's not true. If they hit elite status in the preseason, we actually banned them from hitting elite status in the regular season.
Oh fuck yeah! I forgot about that one. That's true.
Yeah,
Shit.
Oh,
that's
crap.
a rule.
Yeah.
So I guess Mid Goku was never an elite.
No.
Crap.
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh well.
No,
But
no.
anyways, the preseason is a whole different game. It's just like comparing the minors to the majors. It's
Yes.
completely fucking
Yeah.
different.
That's a good way to look
It-
at it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, builds are not solid. People aren't actively trying to counter each other. And there's a whole bunch of different factors. If that character is consistent enough, they will become elite during the main season, no problem. Unless they're countered.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, and on that note, we will finish up with our analysis of the preseason teams. Right then, the Zcast questions from the viewers. I apologise if my keyboard cuts out halfway through a question. Malachi asks on the 25th of December.
Malachi.
Break your
It's
face.
Malachi. It's Malachi. It's Malachi.
You guys have
Malachi.
no
Stop
idea the conversation that was had over that name before we started recording.
It's goddamn Malachi.
Malachi
Well, actually, I guess
asks,
you do now. You do now.
with season 6 schedule being posted, would I be correct in thinking that the teams in slots week 14 and 15 are the pairings that will be used for the preseason?
No. You're wrong.
Actually, I think I might have answered that one already in the team responses.
Probably.
No,
did.
because it's that, but reversed.
Yes.
So no, the answer is no.
No,
Owned.
yeah, exactly.
Owned. Sorry.
Boom!
There we go.
Off my shoulder right there.
That question was fairly easy. The next question, Andy
Is not really a
GM.
question.
Wendy, 3rd of October. Wow, 1:48 a.m. Based on what I've seen from test, I would say everyone is in great shape going into season 6. Do you think that because of how teams improved, that this might be the most entertaining season yet? For me, it was season 4.
I don't know. I found all the season progressively more interesting, generally.
Same here.
Yeah.
I seem
Why
to
not?
think that they get better as we go along. I think season 5 was a lot more interesting than 4 because, but see, now I'm coming at this from different than just an average viewer because
Yeah.
I don't just look at a match and go, man, that was a damn good match. I look at a match and go, they tried to counter. This was amazing. It may not have looked amazing, but it was amazing because of what happened and what they tried to do. And
Yeah, I mean, a
So-
lot of, we have a certain advantage being admins on the forums that we can see a lot of the stuff and we can get in to be quite in depth about the stuff on the forums itself, which, I mean,
Yeah.
makes it almost extra interesting for us in a way.
I can't anymore.
it's 'cause you're so-
I like season 3 best.
Oh, shut it.
Did you? Why'd you like season 3 best, HK?
I liked it because we won the championship.
Did you? Oh, I never have guessed.
Well, hang
Isn't
on.
that
You won the
special?
championship in season 4 too, so.
Yeah, but that was that
Oh,
was
yeah.
whatever.
No one likes a repeat.
Exactly. It was a given then. Anyway, next question by GZ. Is that a
O.
0 or an O or?
It's an O.
Geom asks, a multitude of changes have been made within teams. New starting transformation states, new builds, new roles, and new characters. Which changes are you most looking forward to see in action? Which ones have caught your attention?
I'm interested to see if Frieza in third form happens. That could be interesting. I'm really interested to see if the Saiyans keep King Vegeta out and actually keep Nappa and Turles around and not replace one of those. That'll be interesting and possibly a mistake. Again, I'll be interested to see how Devilman performs. That's a pretty big one for me. Yeah, Cell actually. Curious about that one.
I'll be curious to see how the Super Saiyans do now that they're in Super Saiyan 1 form. If they turn into a powerful team again, or if they become.
And mid Goku in base form. I'll be curious to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will. Yeah.
I don't think it will.
Definitely.
Who cares about that?
I mean, nobody really gives a shit about the Earth Defenders, but it would be kind of funny season 5.
Wow. Why am I even here? God damn it.
I think we mentioned Target earlier. That may have been to
Yeah,
do with
I mean,
me.
it's not so much target practice as sadism at this point, but hey.
Yeah.
But I
think
mean,
it's just- I think
really
it's just
nobody
instinct, actually,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's
It is
instinct.
actually. I keep on meaning to stop and perhaps targeting HDK a bit, but I can't help myself.
You keep wanting to stop and be a nice guy, but you
Oh,
don't.
no, I never said I
really
It's like a
wanted to.
reflex when you see a wasp or a bee or something. You just smack it.
Yep.
You don't really ask it. Or if
Congratulations, insect.
Wow.
When I see Burn's face, I have to punch it.
Oh my god!
Wow, HDK taking things to the next level. What the fuck, man?
Wow.
He's
Jeez,
mean.
Someone
You're
had to
so
say it. It was on everyone's
gentle.
mind.
What a
Yeah.
bunch of assholes.
So, Bernie, fancy playing games later?
No.
Oh, don't you
No, I'm fine. Yeah, sure.
Um,
Smite. Let's do it.
The next question is also by Gion. For the staff members not part of any team, so me and Rebel, is there a specific team that you are rooting for or interested in watching next season?
Booze! Go Booze!
Super Saiyans?
Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see the Super Saiyans in action, actually, as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it's something that they've actually answered it before, and it's I guess people it bears reminding, especially Rebel. He may have teams that he's interested in seeing, but he doesn't have any teams that he. Let's put it this way: it's not like he'll be depressed if they fail. It'll still be
No,
entertaining
okay.
to him, but just in a different way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I've been out of being really involved in teams for. I actually don't remember. A couple of seasons at least. And you get a certain appreciation for all of the other stuff that goes on and what else you can see and what else you can do. So. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm really interested in the Boos because I enjoy watching the Boos play generally, and actually seeing the Boos getting their team back almost is really, really cool. And just teams that do interesting stuff is interesting to me, and I'd like to see that do well, or I'm curious to follow that and see how that goes. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Super Saiyans because
Well,
I
nothing's
used to
changed
be
there,
on
then.
the Super Saiyans.
You used to coach the Super Saiyans.
I did.
No wonder
did.
they were so.
Then they got nerfed. In
I-
more ways than one.
I escaped the Titanic before it sunk.
You caused the Titanic.
Yeah, ACD is actually the one that punched the hole.
I
Yeah,
thought it was
it's
Burns'
amazing.
face, and I just couldn't resist.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry, I might have.
You just drew it.
Yeah.
God.
Oh dear. The next question by Wicked Phantom. Why did the
Wicked?
Precy spoon get cut back so much this season? Is it because fans don't find it entertaining, or is it just an effort to keep it within a certain time period?
The what?
The Precy spoon.
Oh, the preseason.
Yes.
The preseason
Yeah.
was cut for 2 reasons. One, well, first of all, it depends on what you're asking. We cut it down to 4 players because Piff and I couldn't commentate on 8 5-man matches a week. That was too much. The weeks were cut back because we as a staff, we looked at it and it just was unnecessary. It was needlessly long. 2 weeks is perfect because that's great to generate hype and get ready for the season and get you excited. 4 weeks just drags on. It's like, okay, like for example, we've done 2 weeks. Now it's week 3 that doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's
I
like
think-
it's not only that. It's also like if you listen, presumably you've just been listening to this and haven't skipped over just to the questions. If you have, congratulations, it's probably a good idea. Also, but like we haven't. I mean, what has there been to talk about? There's been a few interesting decisions by teams that happened.
Mhm.
What else is there really? So I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's there. It exists. It was interesting for some testing. Some teams had some fun with it, and we're now moving on to the main event where things actually matter. I think that's much more interesting for everyone involved. It's less work for Squee and Piff in terms of commentating, and it's pretty much perfect, really.
I agree.
Like, it makes teams really think about, okay, we have just a couple of full game matches. Who are we going to test? How are we going to test them? Are we going to test them? What are we going to do in that time? Let's get ready for the season and make sure that, because some teams have started predicting. Quite understand why. They were trying to predict, teams' lineups in the preseason. It's kind of a weird one. But hey, they're getting into the rhythm of that, and that's probably not a bad idea.
Right.
So, getting into the habit early on is certainly good, and
Even if it's just flexing the prediction muscle, it's still good. Yeah.
That's a
So
very
yeah.
strange
So
muscle.
basically, the biggest thing to take away, and I think everyone can get behind this, we get to the regular season faster. Like someone asked me the last week, like, was I sad that the Earth Defenders lost to the West Kai team in the preseason? No. No, of course not. Now, first of all, our builds were, mostly just anyway. But even if we put our heart and soul into those builds, who cares? It's just a preseason. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it does matter, but it doesn't matter after the match is over.
Yeah.
There's no lasting consequences. Yeah.
I can tell you exactly what I did with the builds too. I wrote down a whole bunch of Pataras on some sticky notes. I crumpled them up, and then I tossed them into certain boxes.
Actually,
and
what
that was the builds.
happened was he had them on the floor, and then when HJK punched him, whenever he inevitably saw his face, he would fall and roll on them, and any post-it notes that actually stuck to him, those were the Pataras we put on the characters.
I'm
Okay,
very
fine.
It's a very
instrumental.
needlessly
Yeah.
convoluted system, but we like it, and it works.
and I
Seriously.
recorded it.
Seriously, the Zcast studio is quite the entertaining place for me.
We had a horse in here the other week.
Yeah.
Kick
Don't
foot.
ask. Squeak
Don't
just
know
rode
why.
in.
No one
Squeak
asked. We were
literally-
just walking in the hall, and I was walking to the studio, and I was like, "Really? A horse? Really?"
Yeah,
This
well,
I
basically
think it
what
was
we
from
done is we-
marketing or something.
Yeah, well, basically what we've done is we tied Burn to the wall, and just sort of like we the horse was a bit agitated. It couldn't quite figure out what was going on. 'Cause
So it
basically we
started
had
punching
Burn
Burn
on
in
this
the
constantly
face.
rotating thing just behind it and just out of vision. So every now and then it would just sort of lash out, and we'd have someone come over, calm it down, give it some food.
I'm not even sure how a
And-
horse lashes out.
It
I
kicked
told
You've never been
behind it.
been kicked by a horse, have you, Squee?
Yes.
No, luckily I have not, but I think I can imagine.
Being
Just
kicked by a
imagine
horse with
seeing-
real legs really fucking hurts.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
It's not fun.
Imagine a horse seeing Burn's face.
Oh
Then
my
you
god!
Fuck off!
Oh, come on, guys.
God!
See,
I'm a
all,
handsome individual.
all
Stop
fun
it.
and games in the live studio. Um,
How
The next
dare
one.
you enjoy yourself, HJK? You
I'm allowed
next.
to enjoy myself as long as Burn doesn't. That's how I look
Wow.
at it. It's all yin and
What an
yang, isn't
arsehole.
it?
It's alright, Burn, I've got you back. Just stand
I'm gonna
right
get
there.
a PM from Burn any day now. It's like find someone else to do your
Yeah.
stats, and then I'm gonna have to be like, Burn, we're sorry. Here's a
Oh,
Coke.
but you can do the stats anyway.
It's like all I offer him back is a Coke. It's like, I'm sorry. Here's a soda. Here's a sandwich.
It's alright, once the season actually starts, Burn's going to be getting lots of appreciation for actually doing the stats, so we've got to make up for it now.
Like I said, yeah.
Actually-
yin and yang.
Actually, Burn gets to move to just a managerial role for the most part. We actually, and I'm
It's
very
great.
excited about this. We have enough people willing to do stats and doing it reliably that we like. I love it because in season 4 we tried it and it failed miserably because there weren't enough dedicated people. Season 5, it was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of heartbreak, but people stuck with it and we had stats. Now we actually have enough people dedicated to it that we know we're going to have good stats this season, and that's fantastic. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
which by the
I
way, stats team, I hope you realize this literally means that just every day, Burn will be standing on a catwalk above your heads with a whip and walking up and down.
Yeah, and if you
and
look
if he
like
sees any
you-
of you, for the love of God, if he sees any of you playing Tetris,
And if you look like just a little bit further up, I'm standing just above.
Just like lots of
and every day at
catwalks.
3 o'clock, HJK runs down the catwalk just to punch him in the face.
and I'm just putting this out there. Whenever Rebel actually whips me, I will be checking everybody's stats. I'm just saying.
And you'll see me off to the side going, Rebel, it's okay if you whip him, but do it politely.
Yeah, I'm just there giving you a baleful glare for telling me to be nice about it. Prick.
Oh, man. So, like I said, good times at the Zcast studios over here.
We're thinking of going global.
We want to get syndicated.
Oh god. So back to the questions.
No. I think we're
Oh,
done.
fine. God. You can ignore that last bit. We already dealt with that.
Dealt with.
Yes. So on to Vindicateds. HK?
Just go for it, man. Just assume HK is dead. Or dying.
Okay. I'm guessing his keyboard died.
Let's hope.
No,
So
no. Vindicated.
No, it
asks,
hasn't died, or no, don't hope for that. I'm really kind of confused here.
What character and/or coach performances surprised you during the preseason?
Margin. No. Wrong one. Majin Buu. There we go. I was gonna say Majin.
Yes, Majin Buu was really surprising.
Love Majin Buu. He's back. He's cool. Love Majin Buu.
yeah, it was fantastic.
Goldo. Goldo surprised me that one match.
That one match.
Now, not like Majin Buu. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting I was like, holy crap, look at that. But I was like, Goldo, hey, doing some stuff. Very nice.
Yeah.
Maybe Bobbity as well. Old Bobbity.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people play things that I'm interested in. In terms of like character performances, Majin Buu is certainly the standout one for me. I'm really excited for the Boos just in general for next season. Like I love Majin. I love the Boos. Like the moves that they have are really really cool, and the team in general is a nice one. And Scotty's done an awesome job over the past few seasons. It's been a lot of trial and error for him, and
But
oh
I have
God,
to
I'm
say that's
terribly
kind of
sorry. I
one
don't know who the
reason
other
why
person is, but
I'm a bit disappointed with the preseason is because for just that reason, there weren't a lot. There weren't a lot of characters where I was like, dude, look at the improvement.
yeah, no, I agree. I think that's fault with the teams, to be honest with you.
Or
But,
the
yeah.
preseason.
I'm
All the preseason.
sorry.
Yamcha, Yamcha, I want to see more Halo.
For fuck's sake. No.
Okay, I'll put it this
No.
way: it was just a fake build, and I was still with Burn going.
Oh, come on, that wasn't a fit. Come on, that was awesome. You should do more. Come on.
Like I was sitting there going, I know it doesn't matter, but it still hurts.
There's so much.
Yeah, no, it was good. In terms of coach performances, I was
I'm
surprised
sorry.
there were fewer changes from the Rugrats.
Yeah.
I was surprised and I think disappointed is the right thing. I was expecting things to change, and I was expecting performances to improve on that front, and I don't really think they did. But apart from that, I don't know. Yeah, there was nothing in the preseason. I mean, even Cell going elite, there was nothing in the preseason that made me seriously sit up and go, holy shit. This is going to be season changing. This is a season changing performance. I don't think that was a thing. But you never know. There may be things.
I can't say I was surprised by too many coach performances
No.
either. No.
I
Okay. Oh, he also asked another question. Has anyone been selected to take over Ronald the King's coach interview / highlights segments?
I don't know, HJK. Has anyone?
Well, that's the thing, really. I haven't really had. Well, I'm not going to have any time for Zcast editing.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much
So-
at the minute,
so-
I will be continuing to, because it doesn't really take up much of my time to do it. I'll be handling the Zcast for, well, probably the rest of the Zcast. There's nothing. I have nothing lined up for that sort of thing. I'm not intending to put something like that in there. As it stands, it was an experiment.
Right, and I think basically the way we kind of feel of it right now is that the Zcast is fine the way it is. So if we were to do something different, it would have to be really impressive to be worth the effort and time.
Yeah, effectively,
Yeah.
I mean, it is certainly worth consideration. It's been something that we've considered doing before, and that we've even done on occasion before. The thing is with the kind of like coach interview segments specifically, the highlight segments themselves, meh, one way or another. The coach interviews are an interesting concept. There's a very specific structure that you have to follow when it comes for interviews to make them good interviews. I think it would be useful if it could be interesting if we had that kind of thing, but I am very critical, as everyone probably knows by now, and I don't think it's a thing we'll be doing. I'm not going to completely rule it out, but I think it's highly unlikely.
I would, on that note, I would certainly suggest and encourage coaches to use the thread we have for the Zcast response for coaches,
Yeah.
because if we can't get an interview with you, you can at least use that thread to get your voice out there and have your voice heard.
Like, that's the whole purpose of it. That's the whole point of it being there. If you want to get your voice out and we feel that there's something that's been said there, like, we'll respond to you in there, quite likely. Almost certainly. And if, it's something genuinely interesting, then we will definitely bring it up on the Zcast, at least in passing. It's just a case of actually getting those responses out there. Because I think there have certainly been some coaches in the past who've been less than happy with things that we've said, but haven't taken the opportunity to stand up and actually say, well, hang on, here's here's what was going through our heads at the time. It might not change our opinion, but there's the opportunity of giving other people the opportunity to have a different perspective, and we will obviously mention that on the Zcast when we get around to it.
So long as their perspective agrees with ours.
Well, I'll mention it regardless. I know anybody who doesn't.
Wow,
agree
look
with
at
me is
that.
wrong.
Mine,
Look
as long
how-
as it agrees with mine. Mine
Yeah.
is what you meant to say.
Oh yeah. Oh dear.
I know that anybody who doesn't agree with me is wrong by default, and so I don't have any problems giving them a voice. So.
I don't think anyone disagrees with me. I just don't think that's. I don't.
I know people
I've never.
disagree
I
with
have
me.
never
They're
once
just
ever
wrong.
ever encountered that. ever.
But Squee, I dis.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, looks
Hey,
like
Squeak,
me.
hey, Squeak. Hey, Squeak,
Huh?
guess what? Guess what?
What?
Guess what, Squeak?
What?
Okay, hey, Squeak.
Hmm?
You're
What?
wrong.
That's Sorry, what? I was tying my shoe.
Oh.
Did I miss something?
No,
Don't
shit.
worry, we just fired Burn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we decided he
Good.
was incompetent.
Or no, there's another way to look at this. It's just that I agree with whatever's being said at the time.
That's also true.
Squee agrees with whatever I say, and by the time it comes to Squee, everyone agrees with what I say.
Butter side up? Yes, sir. Butter side up. Butter side down. Exactly. What?
Butter both
Yeah.
sides then. Anyway, the next question by Scotty B. His first one is: with Burn already signed up for the second season of the Fantasy League, will any of the rest of you be joining in as well?
Possibly. I have a terrible memory, though.
Probably not. I don't really have time, though I will try
Oh.
and keep an eye on it.
You don't want to rumble again?
No, I've decided to let you children continue playing.
Oh,
you know,
oh!
all the adults get
It's
on.
almost like HJK doesn't like losing. Oh.
It's a good thing I don't lose then.
It seems like HJK is just a little bit salty that
Stop.
my team ended up one rank higher than his.
Oh.
I'm
see.
sorry.
I can't.
That's what
I
it
can't.
looks like.
No salt here. It's all pepper. It's all pepper where I'm sitting. I'm afraid. Not getting any salt.
What about paprika?
Paprika, not paprika. Fuck.
Shut up.
The fuck kind of a barbarian are you?
Aluminum.
Island dweller.
It hurts. What have you done? I hate you.
Squee,
Yes.
will you be doing the fantasy league?
No.
Wow.
I don't have time. Sorry.
Oh God, no.
Wow.
Jesus.
What a prick.
So it looks
Sorry.
like maybe Rebel, but mostly just me. Which, hilariously enough, it looks like quite a few people are already just copy pasting my entire lineup.
Or did
Yep.
you just steal theirs before they had a chance to post it? We know what
I
you're
think
like
that's
with
more
these
like-
leagues, Ben,
Yeah.
and your cheating
Okay,
ways.
yeah, sure.
You're
whatever.
getting your ranks above other teams that deserve it.
See, the salt is real.
No, sorry, no.
See?
I don't know what you're talking about. Just pointing out a fact of a certain team. Anyway, next question by Scotty B. Will there be any time in the Zcast during the season given to discussing the fantasy league and betting?
Yeah, of course.
I'll bring it up.
Well, I
I'll
mean,
shut him up. I mean,
I'll bring it up.
No,
it's not going to be it's not in the same bag as the Ronald the King stuff because it's just us bringing it up. So of course we'll do it if we have the time, if we
Mhm.
I
remember.
don't see any reason why we shouldn't,
Yeah.
actually go over some of the stuff that's happened. It's actually quite interesting to see how people are doing. So.
Exactly.
Especially since we've got a man on the inside. I mean,
Yeah. Well, we all know what he's like though.
well, I say
With
man.
fantasy
I
league.
mean,
You can never trust him with a fantasy league team though. You know what he's like.
I'm
Bloody
going to
shit.
change the rules for the fantasy league to where
Burn can't
anyone
win anything.
can take anyone on their team at any time, and same person can be on multiple teams. Therefore, everyone's a winner, and if you're not a winner, you really are doing it wrong.
no, Squeak. You realize what you've done here is people are actually going to take you seriously, and Scotty's going to have a fucking nightmare now. You realize
Yeah.
this, right? You fucked it
And
up, Squeak.
This idea all came from Burn.
No!
See what it's
No!
like. See what it's
Liar!
like. I warned you.
Oh my god.
Honestly, Burn, I don't know why you would do that to Scotty, but whatever. I trust you.
That wasn't me, though.
Squee agrees with you, Burn, that it's a good idea.
What the fuck?
No,
Anyways.
Burn, don't be modest. Don't be modest. Take credit for your work. It's fine.
Next few questions by Wicked Phantom yet again. His first
There's
one.
also, just putting that out there, you might want to reload.
Refresh the page. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I already have. Believe me,
Okay.
I have an inside man of my own. I'll
Ah.
let you know. Considering how dominant the
HJK has a
androids
man.
were during the preseason, how do you think this will carry over into the real season?
Don't know.
I personally think that the preseason is the real season. It just doesn't like to say
Oh, come
to make
on.
the other one feel bad. So really, the androids have won the season.
Okay.
Have
now,
you been
now,
taking your meds, HJK?
Oh yes, lots of meds. Don't worry. I've been taking all
Have
of
you been
them.
taking the ones that were prescribed to you?
What?
You haven't been taking my meds, have you? God damn it, HJK.
Well, there's just like a pause.
Stop eating all the
Come
pills.
again? Or you just like hear crunching. What?
They're Tic Tacs, I swear.
It's fine if I have a handful.
What's wrong if they're prescription Tic Tacs? I don't care.
They don't taste like Tic Tacs anymore.
It's like
I
chalk.
wonder why.
They taste like chalk and broken dreams.
Wow. I think that's just my fantasy league team of last
Tastes
season.
like addiction.
Someone's butthurt.
I can't imagine who that might be.
Oh,
Right.
man.
So again,
No.
androids
no,
were.
no, we
What?
don't think we don't. The answer to this question is no. It's not even a yes or no question. It's just no.
Okay, fine.
It's not,
No.
it's not a yes or no question. It's a no or a
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
A no
that's it.
or a
I mean,
no.
like you can't. The thing with the preseason is you have no way of knowing whether or not teams are taking it fully seriously and how people are going to react to those performances. Yeah, because you see a player that's had a good performance. Okay, look at them. Look at what their build is. Look at how they fight, and then counter.
Yeah, and I'm going to go so far as to say, especially with this preseason that we saw, I know that in some seasons past, we've given our predictions for how we think the teams are going to do over the course of the season. I don't think, I at least for one, say we shouldn't, because I don't have an effing clue.
Yeah, I mean,
I have
like
no idea
yeah,
how
no-
the season's going to go.
especially with the way that certain teams have run, their preseasons. There is literally no evidence, no reliable evidence to go off to make those kind of predictions. So no.
Yeah, so
Right. Okay. Cool. Right. Okay. Do you see this as another season 4 season, i.e., dominant wins, or a season 5 season of close matches?
No idea.
I see it as a season 6
the
season.
last answer. I have no idea.
Yeah, I see it as a season 6 season. Because
Wha-
that's
wha-
Well, that's a
Whoa.
stupid idea, Burn. For goodness' sake.
That's fucking next level. That is.
yeah.
And not to mention, Burn,
Next
there's
level
kids here.
plays.
I mean, kids watch this, so come on.
Wow.
Wow.
Wait, kids watch this?
Wow,
Crap.
I'm just saying. Wow.
Well, they may not be, the right age for kids, but mentally.
No.
Oh,
Shots
shots
fired.
fired.
Shots fired.
Oh,
Nice.
Now I'm not in charge of the Zcast. I can just be an
Shots
asshole. I'm pretty
fired.
much taking over the role of rebel, really.
Except I'm not going to change.
Yeah, I'll just become
So
rebel.
we just have two.
Yeah,
Yep. Deal with it, yo.
that's,
shit.
that's what happens to English people. They just
They
turn.
turn into me. I
They
Squee,
turn.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm next.
No, it's fine.
you'll never be in charge of the
I'll
Zcast, don't
hold
be
down the
stupid.
fort. I'll hold the. Yeah. Do you guys really want me holding down the fort of tact and logic? Seriously?
No, because you're too fucking nice, you prick.
I know.
We've had this conversation many times.
It's true. You guys have no idea.
No, you really don't.
We've had staff meetings.
Yeah.
They've
no,
had interventions of Squee. Just here's the knife. Stab him. I don't want to stab him.
Like I said, we're thinking of going global. We're sure
Yeah.
that our ethical
Here's-
standards will be watertight.
Absolutely.
The next question: will the Super Saiyans stay disarmingly weak? What the fuck are you talking about? We're not even going to answer that question. The next question: are there any tips for strategists, such as focus on a defense versus offense or offense versus offense?
It depends
Come
on
again?
the character.
What's the question again?
Are there any tips for strategists, such as focus on a defensive versus offense, or
Can I
offense versus offense?
make a point? Before we
Yes.
get into either of those two questions.
Yes.
Okay, the answer for the first one is we have no fucking idea. The answer to the second one is it depends on the character. However, before we actually sit down and say that in a slightly more long-winded fashion, spelling. Just putting it out there.
I'm gonna read out spelling mistakes because I think
No.
it points
It
out.
is kind of funny, but it is
Yeah.
also can be very difficult to understand.
Exactly. Well, it points it out so when you write another question, then you'll
Yeah.
just make a note of it. Because you can edit your posts.
It is possible to edit the
So
post.
just saying, if you
do it all the
you-
time.
You have no idea how many times I've had to warn people to edit their content posts.
exactly. So
I do have an idea. I could count
Just,
if you like.
just edit the post. Edit the post. Damn you! That's all you need to do.
you're not
Just
gonna
every now and
be,
then I'll get up in the morning before I go to university. I'll just send Burn like a bunch of links. Like Burn, deal with these. Like,
Yeah,
shit
Burn
to-
deal with this, and this, and this, and this. Fuck! Why
We're
do I
not.
always
We're
have to
not
be the
gonna.
bad guy?
We're not gonna ban you outright. We'll do it.
Well, you
Well,
say
Burn,
that,
we
I
just
mean-
discussed. I'm too nice a guy.
Yeah, he's too nice a guy. I'm too busy. Age Decay's never on. It's
Exactly. Oh, we've got things to do. Jesus, I've got.
We're very busy people with very many things to do.
I've got punching Burn in the face to do. Rebel has whipping Burn to do.
Yeah.
Squee has something. I think it's called work.
yeah. No,
And
I'm
Burn
not
has
convinced.
everything else to do. But yeah, just
All right.
On
we're
the
gonna-
bright side, Burn, we gave you a sandwich.
Yeah, well,
I even gave him a bit of a cookie.
Wow. Wow.
I know.
wait,
Generous.
I was
When was
very
this?
drunk.
I don't
So
remember this.
generous.
I
God.
may have
on your
eaten
pillow.
that by mistake.
Are you
I thought
put
it
it
was
under
a pill. I swear. I thought it was a pill.
You know what though? HJK?
Hmm?
It's the thought that Burn should appreciate.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if
Are
he
you
actually got the
appreciative,
cookie. It's
Burn?
that we intended to give it to him.
Come on, Burn. Say thank
Hmm.
you. Come on, Burn.
Thank you for the cookie that you did not get. Say it.
Thank you, Lord Rebel, for the cookie I didn't get.
Good job. Well done.
Much better.
Yeah, a slap on the head.
Ow!
Okay, next question.
The final set of questions is by Crimson Flame, asked only 17 minutes ago. The first: were there any bench choices that you found odd, particularly those who did not read the reasoning in the individual subforums? Do you think all teams all teams followed the bench the strongest player suggested in the last Zcast? Well, they better have done. If it was suggested in the Zcast, should have fucking done it.
No, the only one I thought was odd because the thing is that there's been so much testing that's gone on during the off season. I can't even begin to determine how teams have changed, and therefore, I'm not going to tell them like what I thought was the best one for them to bench or whatnot. Does that make sense? I don't know who they needed work on. Therefore, I think benching anyone would have been fine because it obviously just means that that was the person they didn't need work on, and that could be that. You know what? We've worked on this character. We still have no idea what to do with them, but we kind of have an idea what to do with these people. So let's test them. And, two tests with this guy is not going to help us much anyway. That's fine. The only one I thought that was odd that was benched was, Jirobi for pre-discussed reasons.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's basically it.
Fair enough. Okay. Next question. With the AI-only test limitations, would you say multiple tests against the same opponent or single tests against multiple opponents is a better indication of AI consistency?
The latter.
Yeah. Agreed.
Mhm.
Unless you are specifically testing to see how it does against a certain type of opponent.
Mhm.
There are some times where you want to see how Piccolo does against Fasha, period. You just want to see how they do against Fasha because maybe you're going to counter them eventually or something like that.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's also an argument to be like, you can look at the AI tests, like if you put, say, a character you're testing out against quite a slow, weak character, that's not going to do very well and not going to put that much damage on. They're literally just there as a punching bag. That can be effective, just to get an idea of what the AI will do in an ideal situation. That obviously, that obviously can work. But yeah, I think the latter's certainly a better idea.
Okay. And then the final question. Is there any merit to testing a player against itself on another AI?
There's merit, but you have to take it with a huge pinch of salt.
Yeah.
I've done it before. I mean,
You also have that.
Exactly. Speaking
Shut
of salt.
up, Rebel.
Speaking of salt.
no, I've done it before. I mean, there's a lot of things to take into account. All you're really looking for when you're doing that is the behavior of the two different AIs that perform. That basically.
There is one single merit to that type of test. One merit.
Yeah,
And
and
that is
that
all the
merit is testing two different AIs on that one character. That's the only merit.
Yes.
I mean, it's good if you're just trying to go, holy shit, this is an emergency where we need to find an AI. But other than that, it's better to do.
It's much better if you do it like this, if you treat it like this. Okay, I want to see how many B2s this AI throws out and how many B2s this AI throws out. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Okay, well that's the questions. All finished.
I would like to point out really quickly, even though we used the example of testing Nail against Fasha, or if it was Piccolo against Fasha or whatever, you can only test inside of your own team. So ED can only use ED members. Vowels can only use Vowels
I'm getting
members.
a call. I'll have to be right
All right.
back.
Okay,
Well,
bye.
we'll finish up, so we'll see you then.
I still need to talk to you later, though. Dang it.
He can't hear you. He's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone forever.
Go ahead.
All right, and should I do the fixtures for week 1 then?
Yep, go ahead.
Right. The first match is Dragon Ball Warriors at the Super Saiyans.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
It should be a very interesting match. Are we going to do some predictions?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will throw my prediction out as that Super Saiyans will win. I have faith in Crimson.
Same. I think it will be close.
Yeah.
But Super Saiyans will come and beat the Dragon Ball Warriors.
I agree with that. So I'm going to say Super Saiyans 2. The next match, Margins at Saiyans.
Especially if King Vegeta isn't brought back into the Saiyans, I think the Margins have a definite advantage, so I will go Margins.
I will agree.
Me too.
Copycats.
Next is Cold at Gohan's.
Cold.
Divisional match. Divisional
that's
match.
interesting. Definitely think Cold are going to take that one. Oh well, I don't definitely think that. I think their preseason's been more promising. It'll be an interesting one. I certainly wouldn't be surprised if the Gohans take it, depending on how they build themselves, but I think Cold has a slight advantage in that matchup.
I think that it will be very close. And I will.
I think it can go either way pretty easily.
Yeah. It'll be extremely close. I'm thinking the Gohans. But that's because we haven't seen Teen Gohan at all this season.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, I'll say Gohan's. The next match, Valkyries at Blades.
Neither preseason was particularly, remarkable on either team. I think the Valkyries suffered quite a bit, but I don't know. I actually honestly don't know with that one. I will say Valkyries, but to be honest with you, I wasn't particularly impressed by either of them. I think it could go either way.
Yeah. I'll go with Blades.
I'll go Blades
just to
too.
be different. Well, fine. Gotta copy me now. Jesus.
Well, I couldn't really.
So you're not
escape
being
that
different now, then, are you?
command.
Fuck.
I'm going to say Blades because of Yajirobe, and he's apparently really, really amazing now.
Yeah,
So-
Jirobe OP, yo. Apparently.
Apparently, yeah. The next match,
Flash is gonna kick his ass.
Androids at Earth Defenders.
Ooh. Earth Defense.
Really? I would have thought you'd just go, "Oh yeah, it's Burns' team. They're not gonna win."
I'm not a complete idiot. Unlike you, I'm not like I have my biases and I'll
Wow!
take the piss, but
Wow! What the hell?
some of us have this thing called a sense of humor. That means we're not like 100% serious all of the time, you know. I know it's a difficult concept to understand, but
It's very difficult.
yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna say androids.
Oh, wonder why.
and you guys can guess which team I will be backing.
Androids, obviously.
Yes, the androids. No, I'm just kidding. It will be the Earth Defenders because the Earth Defenders. Anyways,
The next match is Muscle at the Ginyu Force.
Muscle, hands down.
Muscle
hands down.
Derp at Namek.
Divisional match.
Hmm.
Going to be interesting. I'm going to say Namek closely wins.
I agree.
I'm actually going to say Derp. But I agree.
Yeah.
It could be very close. Could be very close.
Mhm.
And the final match is Rugrats at Boo.
Boo.
Boo! Right there, well that's sorted out. There you go. Fixtures for week 1.
Indeed.
Cool.
Yep,
I think
well
that
done.
pretty much
Alright.
brings us to the end of the Zcast. Squeeze. It's apparently being popular with phone calls. I mean, fucking weird is that?
Right?
So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. We will see you guys in a couple of weeks when the main season has started. I would strongly recommend to all coaches, and we may make a post about this at some point, but I would strongly recommend to all coaches that you take time in the background of something to sit down and listen to the Zcast. Yeah, while you're doing something else or whatever, it's well worth your time. You will get or should get a reasonable amount out of it that ought to help you out in the main season. We don't say things just for the sake of saying things. So you will
I
find it
do.
useful. Yes, but nobody listens to you anyway, so it's... But yeah, unless any of the other two have anything to add, we will wrap it up there for the night.
I'm
No,
hungry.
I'm good.
Well, nobody cares, HK. We'll see you next
I
time,
want-
folks.
I want HJK to stop hitting me.